Now at 5, another business in Baxter Springs, Kansas will close its doors soon, leaving a lot of people without jobs. We're going to look at the impact on the community. Plus,
President Biden and Ukraine's president take the stage at the United Nations. I'm Michael George with their message to world leaders.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
In 10 days, National Safety Apparel, previously known as King Louie in Baxter Springs, Kansas, will shut its doors, leaving more than 70 people unemployed. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. They're not alone. At the end of July, trucking company Yellow Corporation also ceased operations, leaving another 30 people out of work in that town. For many families, the impacts of the closures are not only financial, but also emotional. The shutdowns could also impact other businesses in the area.
With reduced consumer spending, also reduced tax revenue, with that business not there, not paying taxes, that's going to affect spending as well and our economy ultimately.
It's sad, makes me want to cry. It's emotional. Don't know what to expect. I'm scared because I don't know what to expect.
Kaufman says people who are impacted by the closures can contact Cherokee County's Economic Development Office or the Pittsburgh Work Center. They can help build a resume, apply and search for jobs, even provide traditional training. You might have noticed some businesses have left or relocated from downtown Joplin. Well, the Joplin Downtown Alliance says the area is undergoing changes to find the right balance of businesses.
There ends up being a lot of service industries and stuff in downtown, which is great, and we want those as well. But we're trying to right now find that right mix of getting enough, food opportunities and fun opportunities and shopping opportunities to engage and create that sidewalk life that really makes downtown feel alive.
Tonight at 6, we're going to hear more from the Downtown Joplin Alliance about the state of local businesses. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly today announced $200 million in funds for community infrastructure projects in the state. It's called the Build Kansas Fund. It'll provide matching grants to communities for water, transportation, energy, cybersecurity, and broadband projects through 2027. Some of us getting some much needed rain. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, we actually have rain chances each and every day this week, which is great, because we definitely need it. But the clouds and the showers keeping our temps down. Most of us are sitting mid to upper 70s across the region. And look at the bands of mainly light showers, but we do have a few bands of embedded moderate rain, which is good, just kind of rotating through. A little bit heavier once you get down into northeastern parts of Oklahoma. But you can see a few showers south of Chanute, just north of Pittsburgh, over toward Lamar, and then also working into our southern counties. But on and off. Scattered showers and thunderstorms as we go through the evening hours into the overnight hours for us tonight. In fact, they increase a bit as we go through the next several hours. You can see 9, 10, 11 o'clock. So, of course, we're going to break this all down the rest of the week for you here in just a bit.
See you soon. Both President Biden and Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky made their case on the world stage for continued support for Ukraine in its war against Russia. The speeches at the United Nations General Assembly come as the world is growing weary of the war, and some lawmakers here in the U.S. are questioning whether it makes sense to continue funding Ukraine's efforts. Michael George reports.
Russia alone bears responsibility for this war.
President Biden is vowing unconditional support for Ukraine.
The United States, together with our allies and partners around the world, will continue to stand with the brave people of Ukraine as they defend their sovereignty and territorial integrity and their freedom.
In his speech to the United Nations General Assembly, the president touched on a wide range of subjects, from climate change to the tense relationship between the U.S. and China.
We seek to responsibly manage the competition between our countries so it does not tip into conflict.
For the first time since Russia's invasion, Ukraine's president appeared in person in front of the gathering of world leaders, trying to rally support as nations grow weary of the conflict.
President of Ukraine.
Volodymyr Zelensky argued that unless Russia is stopped, its aggression won't end with Ukraine.
Look, for the first time in modern history, we have a real chance to end the aggression on the terms of the nation which was attacked.
Zelensky is set to visit the White House and Capitol Hill later this week as Congress weighs President Biden's request for an additional $24 billion in aid. Some in the Republican Party are questioning whether it makes sense to continue funding the Ukrainian effort. Michael George, CBS News, the United Nations.
President Biden is the only leader from the 5 nations with permanent seats on the powerful UN Security Council to speak before the Assembly this year. During his speech, President Biden expressed his support for expanding the membership of the Security Council. A dramatic announcement from Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. He says there is credible evidence of ties between India's government and an assassination carried out in Canada in June of a Sikh activist. Canada has expelled a top diplomat as a result. The Indian government says the allegations are absurd. 5 Americans wrongfully detained for years in Iran are finally back in the U.S. Their plane landed this morning at Fort Belvoir, Virginia, near Washington, after months of secret negotiations. The group includes 2 businessmen, an environmentalist, and a former UN worker. In exchange for the release, President Biden granted 5 Iranian nationals clemency and granted the Iranian regime access to $6 billion of unfrozen Iranian oil assets held in a restricted account in Qatar. Still ahead, a common family vehicle with some safety concerns.
In a new study, minivans fail to make the grade when it comes to protecting children in the back seat. I'm Cristian Benavides, and I'll tell you why.
And next in Health Watch, as some regions see an uptick in COVID-19 cases, new updated vaccines become available. Topping today's Health Watch, updated COVID-19 vaccines are now available. The new shots come as cases and hospitalizations are increasing and the respiratory virus season is picking up. Reporter Stephanie Stahl has more.
Gigi Hua is first in line at Walgreens in Manhasset, New York, to get the updated COVID-19 vaccine.
I heard the COVID is peaking again.
The 48-year-old also opted for additional protection in her other arm, receiving her flu shot.
I don't want to get COVID. I certainly don't want to get the flu, so I'm getting both.
Updated COVID-19 vaccines are rolling out as cases and hospitalizations continue to increase. The latest CDC data shows more than 20,000 hospital admissions for COVID-19 in the first week of September. That's up 7.7% from the previous week.
We've started our respiratory illness season, and we are so busy trying to protect our neighborhood and our patients.
The CDC expects the total number of hospitalizations this year from COVID, flu, and RSV to be similar to last year, higher than levels before the pandemic. For the first time, vaccines for all 3 of the major respiratory viruses are available this fall.
1 vaccine in each arm.
Pharmacy manager Helen Mazer reminds patients they can get more than 1 vaccine at their visit.
Not only will it save you time, but it takes 2 weeks for the vaccines to start working. So you'll be fully covered by the time the season really hits.
At 60 years old, it's recommended Ziba Rahman get the new RSV vaccine.
I have elderly parents. I have people who are immune compromised in my family, and I don't want to bring home anything.
She also got her flu shot to do everything she can to keep herself and her loved ones healthy this winter. Stephanie Stahl, CBS News.
Updated COVID-19 shots will be covered for most people through private insurance. The uninsured can receive the latest vaccine free of charge under the new federal Bridge Access program. A common infection within hospitals does not spread from patient to patient as often as previously thought. A study from the University of Michigan found C. diff, which causes diarrhea and potentially life-threatening colon damage, is usually already in a patient's gut and is a still unknown trigger that causes the infection to spread. Too much screen time for 1- and 2-year-old children is associated with lower developmental scores just a year or 2 later. Japanese researchers looked at nearly 60,000 children and found those who spent more time in front of the screens had lower communication, motor, and social skills. Kids with higher scores had less screen time and are also more likely to have an older sibling, attend childcare, and have parents who read to them. And people who work out in the morning are less likely to be obese. An analysis published in the journal Obesity found people who do moderate to vigorous physical activity between 7 and 9 a.m. are less likely to be overweight than those who work out in the afternoons or evenings. The morning group has a healthier diet too, but also spends significantly more time sitting, which researchers show can lead to other negative health risks. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, the United Auto Workers Union sets a new deadline until their strike expands.
Plus, we have showers, even some thunderstorms that are going to roll through tonight. Those details coming up. Well, it definitely turned out to be a gloomier day for us today, but we need the rain. We've had some light showers that have been pushing through the region. Some areas have had a little bit heavier, but most of it's been pretty light. Here's a nice shot of our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, look at the rain. Showers pushing through, a few embedded tiny little thunderstorms. I'm not worried about anything too strong for us tonight. Once you track into northeastern Oklahoma, those storms could be a little bit more hefty, but in general, it looks pretty good. But you can see a batch across southwestern Missouri into northwestern Arkansas, and then south of Chanute, and then building once you get into northeastern parts of Oklahoma. So light showers south of Chanute. These are all just kind of rotating off toward the east. We'll track a little bit farther south, a few sprinkles south of Parsons, and then it really starts picking up Bartlesville, Nowata, just north of Veneta. And then once you work into southwestern Missouri, the metro, not a whole bunch going on, but then some showers pick up Lamar, stretching over toward Mount Vernon. So this wave is going to just slowly kind of work through as we go into tonight and then again tomorrow morning. So at least we're going to get some rain out there. All right, let's go through time. Let's stop at 9 p.m. Rain picks up, heaviest on the Missouri side, right down the I-44 corridor, stretching back toward Veneta. Let's continue through the night. By 1 a.m., heaviest rain southwestern Missouri, but look how it starts to flare up a bit back in southeastern Kansas, northeastern parts of Oklahoma. Scattered showers, few thunderstorms continue. Here's 5 o'clock in the morning, and then as we work through the morning hours, the heaviest will start to shift off toward the south into the east, but there's still going to be some out there, even late morning, and then most of the afternoon looks fairly dry. Temperatures a little bit cooler with the clouds and the scattered showers that we have out there right now. 7th and range line sitting at 77. Visibility is good, south winds at about 10 miles per hour. If you are going to be outside this evening, you are going to be dodging the showers, so make sure you are aware of that. And as this wave continues to work through, right behind it, we have another one building out across the western third of the country, and that's going to keep rain chances around as we go through the week, which is great. So good rain chances tonight through the morning, start to taper off a little bit tomorrow afternoon, and then into tomorrow night, and then they'll start to kind of flare back up once again by the time we head into Thursday and Friday. All right, so let's go to the noon hour tomorrow, upper 60s to near 70. The afternoon, a random shower, but most of us are going to be dry. Tomorrow night, we'll get a few showers start to pop up northeastern parts of Oklahoma, and then a few hit and miss ones on Thursday, and then our chances increase again, especially Friday into Saturday. So potential rainfall, and this goes all the way to Friday morning. So the next few days, a lot of areas, northern counties not so much, but a lot of areas are going to pick up, and again, this is a model, so can't take it exact, but a lot of areas are going to pick up 1 or 2 inches of rain, which we need. 77 tomorrow, 83 on Thursday, 82 Friday. Rain chances into the weekend, especially Saturday night, Sunday morning, and then just hit and miss storms for us next week, but at least a wetter week for us this week because we need it. A lot of people just laying down grass seed, all that stuff.
Yes, and it's just been so dry for so long. Whatever rain we get, it'll be welcome.
Exactly.
Thanks, Doug. Firefighting crews have a new tool to help them battle wildfires, artificial eyes in the sky. Danish startup company Roboto has developed AI-equipped drones that track and monitor wildfires in real time. The drone technology helps first responders make decisions on how to battle a blaze during those first moments of ignition by searching predefined areas.
In the very early stages of a wildfire, those first moments are critical in making sure the wildfire is not running out of control. With our technology, they can get an instant overview of where the fire is, how large it is, where it's most intense, and then allocate their resources.
Drones also do more than help fire crews. They're also being used by the World Wildlife Fund to detect and track herds of roaming elephants in Thailand. Coming up, what a new study shows about the lack of safety for passengers in the backseat of minivans. Topping today's Consumer Watch, United Auto Workers President Shawn Fain announced a new Friday deadline in the strike the union is waging against the big three automakers. Fain says if Ford, General Motors, or Chrysler parent Stellantis have not made substantial progress toward what he calls a fair agreement, the UAW will call on more members to join the walkout. The union is currently seeking a 36% raise over 4 years, as well as job and cost of living protections. The union rejected offers from Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis centered around a 20% raise. Elon Musk, CEO of X, said he's considering charging all users a monthly fee to use the platform formerly known as Twitter. Musk made comments during a live-streamed event on X with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He said it was the only thing he can think of to, quote, combat vast armies of bots. Musk didn't give a timeline for the possible shift or specify what the fee would be beyond saying, quote, a few dollars or something. Minivans are popular with parents, but new research shows they might come up a bit short of protecting passengers in the back seat. Reporter Christian Benavides explains.
In a new round of crash tests, 4 types of minivans were smashed into a barrier at 40 miles per hour. The vehicles did a good job protecting the driver, but all received a low grade when it came to backseat safety.
The results are disappointing because customers buy minivans to transport their families.
Jessica Jermakian is Vice President of Vehicle Research at the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. The group found the seatbelts in the back either put too much pressure on the chest or slid up, increasing the risk of abdominal injuries. According to the IIHS, the risk of fatal injury is 46% higher for people in the back of the vehicle. SUVs and mid-sized cars also failed to achieve a good grade in earlier research. It's important to stress vehicles are not less safe than before. The test is new and exposing the issue for the first time.
We expect the automakers to put in better belt technology.
Jermakian wants back belts to have the same pretensioners and load limiters you find in the front seat.
So a pretensioner tightens the belt on the occupant, coupling them to the vehicle and helping them ride down the crash, and the load limiter reduces the forces on the chest.
The IIHS emphasizes those improvements can make these vehicles even safer. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
Officials say this is especially scary because minivans are known as the family car. Millions of families have minivans. A final check of the forecast up next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, part 2 of that in-depth report on gun smuggling from the U.S. into Mexico. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more on the impact of 2 businesses in Baxter Springs, Kansas closing. Plus, the executive director of the Ronald McDonald House in Joplin announces her retirement after 26 years in the position. And the Missouri Southern women's golf team finishes its first invitational of the year. We're going to see where they placed. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. It's not a lot of rain just yet, but at least it is some rain for some of us at the moment.
Yeah, we've had a light shower so far for us today, but this is going to pick up as we go through the overnight hours. Scattered showers and some thunderstorms lasting into tomorrow morning. High temp of 77. A few pop-up showers Thursday, and then rain chances go up again as we head toward the weekend.
Very good. Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.